residence and begin exiting the vehicle and heading up the steps. But as you step out, Katerina, you see a familiar shape, a familiar creature sitting at the doorstep, laying there like a dog patiently awaiting its master to come home at the door. And it stands up as it sees you. And it looks at you. And you hear that soft but firm female voice again in your head. I will not wait for this much longer. Now is the time. You must remember, not all of you left Avernus. One of you was left as collateral.
Oh.
Fulfill the bargain, and he is returned. And then she gets firm. Now. Without delay. So, as you all enter Lucian's residence, you're left to consider these things that have happened. So, Katerina, what would you like to do? Because I saw you were about to speak.
Does Katerina remember what she's talking about?
Yes, there accompanies with you when you think about it. There is suddenly a strange clarity surrounding some of the events that happened in Avernus. You see very clearly in your mind's eye Hargraves in a deep, dark dungeon being prodded and tortured by spine devils and creatures of Avernus, still alive, hanging chained to the wall. And you see a small girl in a white dress gleefully taking joy in it. And then you see, very specifically, it comes into mind now, at the time when you first had this discussion, when you reached out to this greater power, and searching for the inner strength to overcome your own harrowing tortures in Avernus, you remember being told that a servant of the enemy of the god whose powers you use shall be coming into your life, and that she offers him for your friends. And then you see very clearly Nikolai in your mind's eye.
No. What?
So I'm going to hang back behind everybody else. And tears just silently start streaming out of Katerina's eyes.
So you hear the Hound of Hill Omen, who's in the room behind you, as you kind of back up into him, and it speaks to you in a voice with a low growl. You know the words. Speak the incantation of entrapment of the soul, and it will be done. Hecate waits for nobody. Do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I am going to use as many of my sorcerer points as I need to, so that nobody else hears me saying anything or doing anything.
Yeah, so you see Locke, Trin, Godric kind of heading up the stairs, and there's a moment of hesitation where you feel like Nikolai kind of stops. And then he kind of looks over his shoulder and he turns and looks at you and starts walking back down the stairs towards you. Now, Nikolai, there's something strange about what's going on. You feel a very heavy presence, a dark presence, in the room with you. And then you see this dog-like creature just cowling around her feet, walking and circling her. And you hear, for just a brief moment, like the inner thoughts of this creature. as it's goading her to speak some incantation.
Katarina, a moment, if you would. Back in the throne room, there was that burst of energy, and my wounds were knitted back together again, and I felt something familiar, but couldn't quite pinpoint it. I have a feeling that you somehow are tied to it. Is that true?
Katarina is still, I'm still just, tears are falling down my face. I'm gonna say, I'm so sorry. And I'm gonna finish the incantation.
And so, like, while she's muttering, I hold up one finger and say, if you would, I understand. I'm going to undo my pendant, and it is just a small pendant of a small, dark steeled raven. I'm going to pin it out and give it to you. Say, my life has always been driven by fate, not necessarily knowing where my next step will lead me. Originally, I thought that I needed to help save my land, but over the last few days and what has happened here in Lior, I realized it is maybe not my land that I was trying to save while I was down here, but perhaps maybe help save you and your friends, purpose, this world. I gonna drop it in one of your hands, right? Take both your hands in mine. Other hand. Say, I want you to know, I do not blame you for this, and you should not feel any guilt in any way. Look at her eyes and say, I forgive you. Give her a little kiss on the cheek. Take a step back. Just say, just beware. I understand you may have to do this for some reason that only you may know about, but do not be trapped in thinking that your fate or destiny is only determined by other people. You control your own fate. The threads of fate are woven all around us. You have influence on that yourself. Do not ever feel stuck or trapped, and may that pendant remind you of it. I'm going to turn around and look up to the moon and say, be kind to the others. You may talk brashly and with courage, but they will need your help and guidance, your insight. Always be wise, always be kind, and everything else will work itself out.
So, as the final words of the incantation leave your mouth, they utter out, there is a dark energy and power that encircles your body, begins moving about your cloak, powering through the room, knocking books off of shelves, and begins to shake the building. A darkness envelops the room, putting out the fires, putting out all sources of light. And then you see some sort of form coming out of the darkness, erupting nearby Nikolai, clawing its way through dimensions from another plane, from another land. Nikolai, as you stand there and looking up towards the moon, thinking about your travels, you look forward, and there, across the sea of gold and white light, you see all of the servants and all of the clerics of the lands that have come before, who have served your goddess, and they welcome you into their realm. They call for you. They reach out to you. Comfort and warmth is on the other side. And you reach out to touch fingertips through a plain, almost water-like glass substance. but it's then closed and darkness overwhelms you. And Katerina, the last that you see as he is reaching outwards to touch something beyond your comprehension is a crooked, dark creature. A living shadow engulfs him and tears him violently into another dimension. And then the darkness recedes, the lights come back, the hound nudges at your leg. Job well done, servant of Hecate. Your friend will be returned shortly. And your father? We can lead you to him as well. For all the wrongs and mistreatments of the world that you have felt, they will be righted. Just embrace her power. Until next Friday.